is going on, everybody, man? King Recon here. Happy birthday to One Piece, man. Happy 20th birthday to this series that has brought so many of us so many incredible memories, experiences, and has led us to find and establish this wonderful community that we're in, man, and this wonderful One Piece community, regardless of whether you divulge in it on YouTube, and in Discord, on Reddit, on Twitter, through forums, man, wherever it is, and whatever time point that you have jumped onto this journey. By God, man, what a journey it's been, man. Truly, from October 20th, 1999. Y'all know how much I love my Today in History stuff here on the channel when it comes to whether it was a video game released, a chapter released, an episode released, a movie released. I always enjoy seeing what happened on a particular day when it's One Piece related. And to know that on this day, man, 20 years ago, the very first episode with Luffy and Kobe, Luffy getting out of the barrel, meeting Kobe for the first time, because I first found the series through the anime, so that early stuff, man, has a very special place in my heart. Is fighting Alvida and by the Flagnars, man. Hell, the very first video I ever made on the channel back in 2013 on the old channel was how I got into One Piece, man. You know, it's those type of stories that stick with you. You know, like how you got into a journey of this magnitude, of this caliber. And man, dude, just to how that led to where I am today, you know, is something I'll always be grateful for, man. But dog, whenever we look back at 1999, man, whenever we look back to at least where I was, back in those times. I mean, of course, I wasn't into One Piece, but by God, Final Fantasy VII was all the rage, man. The PlayStation 1, the PS1, dog, FF7, Spyro Ripto's Rage, the WWF SmackDown series. I mean, it was greatness. Dragon Ball was the king of TV. If you weren't into Dragon Ball, you weren't living at that time, man. Yeah, Dragon Ball, you had WWF versus WCW thing going on there, which of course I was on Team WWF, screw WCW, and then people were finally starting to jump aboard the WWF train with The Rock and Austin and going in like somewhere at that point in time. Flipping sports, you know, Jordan had just left the Bulls, so everything changed. I think the Spurs won that year in 1999. I think John Elway had just won in the Super Bowl earlier in that year with the Broncos, and then I don't remember who won in the following year. But you just never forget those times, man, and to see how far the world has come through, technological advances, and I mean, PlayStation's still at the top of the game, you know. I'm more excited for Final Fantasy VII Remake than anything else, so I guess that shows you that not many things have changed since then, but definitely when it comes to the world of One Piece, man, things have changed a lot. Things have changed a lot, man. I mean, the overall perception of the series, how people, you know, we used to look at it as the ugly stepchild of the big three, and how it has changed into now being, you know, the face of anime worldwide, to where, like, yo, people recognize that there is something about the series that so many people enjoy, and it's just whether you want to attempt to experience it for yourself and are either scared by its length or just find something about it that you don't want to get into. But I feel like almost everyone at the very least recognizes that at this point in time it's number one in the game, and it has been that way for a long time, ever since this movie came out, ever since the 10th anniversary and Strong World was released in Japan, because in the US we got it a couple years later. But ever since this was released in Japan, man, things have never been the same for the series. I mean, it sold more than a year through manga volume sales than other series have in their entire span, you know. So it was absolutely insane with Impel Down and Marineford. Impel Down and Marineford's TV ratings, bringing it back out of that drought that it was in after Enies Lobby in the middle of its run changed time slots. One Piece's ratings were down, and not as many people were watching it as they were previously, but not even the time slot change or whatever was going down there could stop the hype train that was Sabaody, Amazon Lily, Impel Down, and Marineford, man. There was nothing stopping that, and that brought it back into into its prominence and in the role that it had back in Alabasta, and that were just made it boom over there in Japan. And then, of course, with the Water 7 saga, even though that's whenever Bleach and Naruto really became relevant and they established a big three. But after Strong World, man, I mean, everything changed because so many people got into the series through Strong World, and then they were just buying volumes and buying volumes and buying volumes. And then you would go on and look at the TV ratings, and Impel Down and Marineford were killing it every single week. And I was one of those people like, somebody bring this over here, man. I mean, there was no official way of watching it back then. And that's what makes me so happy that here in 2019, there are so many different ways of watching the series and reading this series. We get to read the series right next to when Japan gets it. You know how insane that is? Especially when back in the day we had to wait. They were not even releasing volumes. I remember, I think it was 2010, whenever they went on this long catch up from volume 23. Yeah, volume 23 all the way until volume, I think it was 61 in like a year. Because they were just trying to catch up to where they were over here. And then when Toonami started bringing One Piece on again, whenever Toonami came back on Adult Swim, and they started airing One Piece there, that's whenever it really started getting going, because Crunchyroll got a little bit after that, and that's when so many people hopped onto One Piece, man. Because before that, you know, we had One Piece Official for a couple years, and One Piece Official has a special place in my heart, because I used to work at this job where I closed on Saturday nights, and when I got home from closing on Saturday nights, the first thing I would do after I took a shower was get on my computer, One Piece Official, and watch the newest episode of the series. So that website will always have a special place in my heart. But before that, man, before One Piece Official, there was no way that you could legally or officially watch the series on any platform, right? So we had to go find some sort of way to watch it, man. And even then, I still tried to support the series as much as possible with like the box sets, you know, the good old Drum Island, Alabasta, Skypiea, or early series box sets. But there was no way for you to watch like stuff like Water 7, Annie's Lobby, Thriller Bark, Sabaody, Impel Down, Marineford. Like there was no way for you to watch or read these arcs in an official way. And I'm so glad that things have changed in that aspect for not only One Piece, but for just anime and manga in general. There are so many series that are readily available for you immediately, man, and officially. And with me saying that, man, I mean, of course, when I look back, like the old Kaizoku fan subs, One Piece version has special place in my heart because that's how I originally got into the series, you know, with the colored attacks and whatnot. But I'm so happy that Crunchyroll and like Hulu and I think I don't think Netflix has it, but like all these streaming sites have picked up One Piece and allowed so many eyes to be on the product now. And like the dub, now that's a good segue, man. The dub just got announced for today, right? The dub, they announced it this morning, which is crazy because it's the 20th anniversary of the series. They announced that the dub will be coming back today, which they teased it yesterday, or not today, but they announced that, or let me reiterate that one more time. The dub was announced today, and it said that it's going to be released soon. So if you have not been keeping up with the dub news, or you haven't watched the One Piece dub in a while, after Fishman Island, after episode 574, it's been a standstill. And this entire year, we've been getting a lot of specials, which I've loved, man. I've bought every single special that's come out this year, and I've put it down there, and they've been incredible watches. But I just felt for those anime-only viewers, and for myself, I really enjoy the English dub as well, and I was really excited for Punk Hazard and Dressrosa. And so, but this entire year, they haven't been releasing any of the voyages or anything, right? So today, on the 20th anniversary, they decided that it was finally time to announce that they will be going back to dubbing the anime for season 10, and that apparently episodes 575 to 587, or 580, I think it's 587, are going to be coming out soon, which is the Z's Ambition arc from 575 to 578 is Z's Ambition, which was the filler arc that is the prologue to Film Z. And that shows you how long it's been, man. Yo, y'all remember when Film Z was hot? That was the 15th anniversary of the manga. It's been a long time, coach. That was like 7 years ago. That's insane. But so we have the Z's Ambition stuff, and then right after that is Punk Hazard. So around 9 episodes of Punk Hazard content at the beginning, man. That's very, very exciting. We're finally gonna be getting that in the dub. I'll finally be able to hear my boy Caesar Clown in the dub, man. See Smoker, dog. Like, I love the beginning of Punk Hazard. The beginning and end of Punk Hazard in the anime is so much fun. The middle, there's a lot of padding and there's a lot of stretching out on those episodes. That's why I prefer that portion a lot more in the manga. But the beginning and ending of that arc in the anime is so much fun. There are so many incredible, like, One Piece caliber episodes, man. Episode 616 with Law and Virgo and Smoker. And whenever Law gives that legendary speech that's leading into the current stuff that we have right now. Punk Hazard greatness. The Zoro versus Monet stuff. But the beginning of the arc is so much fun whenever they ended up like switching the bodies due to Law's ability. Actually seeing Law on the island. I'll never forget when that arc was coming out, man. Punk Hazard changed the game because after Fishman Island, that was an arc that we had been built up for so long. But we were like, after Fishman Island, where are we going from here? So when I saw Punk Hazard, I was like, dog, yo, this is amazing. This reminded me so much of early One Piece, especially with all the players that were involved. I was like, Smoker and Luffy in the same arc, and it's not Marineford. Like, let's go, man. It reminded me of like early Alabasta. I love the whole atmosphere and the tone of Punk Hazard, and they really nailed it in the anime. And I know I'm biased because, like I said, it's that good old nostalgia when it comes to watching that from work every Saturday, and I'll never forget buying this volume, man. Volume of Legend, man. I love Punk Hazard, dog. But yeah, so I'm super excited for the anime or for the dub onlys to finally get to experience Punk Hazard in the anime, because that's a lot of fun, man. That arc right there. And because of the rate in which they release episodes, 13 episodes at a time, they're gonna get through Punk Hazard really quick, and Dressrosa's right after that. So we're gonna get a point in time, if they really dedicate their time to this, we're gonna get to a point in time where Dressrosa and Zoe and Whole Cake could be in a couple years. We could get Whole Cake Island, and y'all know how much I love that arc, man, especially in the anime. The manga, I absolutely adore it too. Excuse me, but the anime just nails so many amazing scenes that I'm just like, flag nards. I can't wait for that. I can't wait to own that. You know, so I'm looking forward to that, man, and definitely just really, really good news, because I know so many people that are dub onlys for One Piece that I just could not wait for them to finally get a continuation, especially with all these movies coming out. I know if somebody's a massive One Piece fan, but they only stick to one side of the spectrum, like in the dub, and you see Stampede coming out, you see Film Gold coming out, like, it's inevitable to get spoiled on certain plot points, like Luffy having new forms, or other characters having these new abilities, or certain characters being revealed for the first time, and like you won't be able to experience that through the anime itself because they weren't there at that time. But I'm glad that thanks to what I saw in that video, I think that they're really, really taking this full steam ahead, like in the same manner in which they did whenever season 4 was announced back whenever, y'all remember how they took a break after Skypiea? So I think what they're going to do here is something similar to whenever they took the break from Skypiea and came back for Water 7 Enies Lobby, where they were just going ham. I mean, Long Ring Long, Water 7, Enies Lobby, Thriller Bark, Saba. I mean, that was just back to back to back to back to back to back. I mean, it was bad for my wallet, but I was happy. I was like, yeah, man, I finally get to own Water 7 Enies Lobby, man. Like, that was just the art. So to have that, like, bro, some of these still hold a very special place in my heart, just because I was like, man, like, knowing where we came from when it came to One Piece, where none of this was available to actually be bought. Like, I just remember going to the store and coming out with this, and I was like, dog, Water 7 and Enies Lobby actually being in my house, dog. Like, yo, it's crazy. So, but yeah, super happy for the individuals that enjoy the dub. I enjoy the dub, so I'm looking forward to Punk Hazard, man, and to be able to experience that in that manner. But man, dude, without further ado, let's get right into the main topic of this week's Recon's piece. Listen, man, shout out to Daniel Dockery, man. Seriously, big shout out to Daniel Dockery. Daniel Dockery has had so many awesome features on the Crunchyroll website when it comes to One Piece. He's always attempting to keep it fresh and give us, you know, new insights and really nice looks into certain topics in the One Piece verse. Like, I've really enjoyed looking at most of the articles that he has written on the website, and now we have this new one, man. And this one is very similar to the anime arcs one that we looked at back I think it was a couple months ago, where he created this anime arcs list. And because that's my favorite thing in all of this community, when somebody brings out a favorite arcs list for One Piece, I immediately either watch, read, or listen to what that person has to say. And the reason for that is because when it comes to arcs, I feel like that's the number one way that you can look at somebody's journey through One Piece and see which parts really impacted them more than others. Because you can do the same thing with moments, chapters, and episodes, but with arcs, that's an entire section. You know, and entire sections, most of them can't be consumed in one night. And so what you look at here is the arcs, and because inevitably what is happening in your actual life gets affected by that. That's why Jaya Skypiea to me will always be in my top 5, because that arc was directly affected by what was going on in my life at the time. So it will always, I don't care what happens, I don't care what arcs come out, that arc and Arlong Park will always be somewhere in the top 10, and they ain't ever leaving. I don't care if Oda writes like 10 out of 10 arcs from here on out. Those arcs ain't leaving because of just the personal attachment I have to them. And I think you truly get to see that in arc rankings, right? So I did a video for that because I was like, man, an official article on an arc ranking, and it has anime-only arcs, anime-only filler arcs? I was like, yo, Daniel Dockery is an awesome dude. And I absolutely adore that article. And so now we have a new one. We have a new one that is ranking Luffy's 20 best knockouts. You know, of course, in honor and in homage to the 20th anniversary of the series. But yesterday I was talking about this very exact same concept on Twitter. We were talking about our favorite punches in One Piece, and how there's certain punches that aren't as appreciated as others because of the way they were done in the anime as compared to the manga. And to see that this very same topic is brought up again in a list like this is really, really cool. So I just want to give another quick shout out to Daniel Dockery for creating a list like this so that I can come on here and react to it and talk about it on the YouTube channel, man. Now, I'm really looking forward to this because of the wording. You know, it's not Luffy's best punches, it's not Luffy's best attacks, it is specifically Luffy's 20 best knockouts for the anime. And we know that the anime has done certain things differently than the manga has. So I'm super looking forward to seeing this, because had it been 20 best punches, I think across the board, you would have seen so many, or you would have seen the same, like, 4, just nonstop. Best attacks, a little more variety. But when you have 20 best knockouts, like, I have like 60 that come to my mind immediately. I mean, you have the Ogun Rifle, you have the Jet Gatling, you have the King Kong Gun, right? You have the King Cobra, you have the Gum Gum Storm, bro. Let me tell y'all something, man. You would have asked me this question a couple years ago, I probably would have been between the Jet Gatling and the Storm. Because the Gum Gum Storm in episode 126, with a legendary music used in the background, I have rewatched that episode so many times. When people would come over to my house and tell me, yo, people in One Piece don't throw hands, I would throw on that episode and say, tell me again that people in One Piece don't throw hands. Tell me again. Luffy's out here bloodied up. He bloodied himself up on purpose just to hit Crocodile, and he's boxing him in the mausoleum. Greatness. The Ogun Rifle. One of my favorite episodes in the anime, man. Definitely top 15. Legendary stuff. And then the Jet Gatling, episode 309, man. I mean, my goodness, bro. It's the emotions behind it. But even above that, looking back on it in hindsight, there's so many more than them. And then you have the legendary one from Arlong Park. Let's get right into this list before I start crafting my own list here. So once again, right here, now this was published yesterday, or was it yesterday? Yesterday was 19th, right? Yeah, I'm tripping. October 19th, 3 p.m. Eastern, ranking Luffy's 20 best knockouts for the One Piece anime's 20th anniversary. And we have Luffy's face right here from the Arlong Park arc, man. Here's the best and most brutal. And right here it states, we love One Piece because of its themes, the idea that because the ocean is so vast, you'll one day find a place where you belong. That is 100% factual. That is 110% factual, man. That even though others may tear you down or forget about you, your dreams will never die. That is actually my favorite theme in the entire series, which is why what I was going back to earlier with Jai and Skypiea having such a special place in my heart. That it's your duty to stand up to your friends because you know they'd stand up for you. Those are all beautiful and well-developed motives in the One Piece world. But you know what else is beautiful and well-developed in the One Piece world? Luffy's ability to knock someone out. And that never gets old, man. Luffy could do it. Luffy just did it a couple episodes ago with Hiroshima and with Hold'em. And I was still as hyped for that as I was whenever Luffy punched Alvida for the first time. It never changes. Thanks to Luffy's grit and Gum Gum powers, we've been treated to some of the best KOs in anime history in One Piece. 100%. And I think since the 20th anniversary of the anime is October 20th, 2019, we should celebrate 20 of them here. And I think in the first spot we should have number 20, Don Krieg. I'm going to start with this one because it always felt like Luffy using the Gum Gum Gatling and then Gomu Gomu no Pistol and then 2 Gum Gum Bazookas, and finally finishing off Krieg with the Gum Gum Giant Gavel was executing a combo move. That's 100% factual. That's the way I looked at it too. Like, whenever Luffy was fighting Krieg, it felt so much like you were fighting a boss battle, and you were just using every possible thing in your arsenal to take this dude out. Because even though Luffy was stronger than Krieg 110% across the entire field. Like, if you had their stats lined up against each other, Luffy should have easily beaten Krieg. But the thing with Krieg is that Krieg had armor. Krieg had these things that were like stat buffs for us Final Fantasy nerds. It's like this person had like a massive stat buff, and you're sitting here trying to find a debuff to bring that back down so you can see him, right? And that's what Luffy was trying to do. Like, if he'd accidentally pressed X instead of B at the end there. Exactly. He would have gone for another Gum Gum pistol and lost the quick time event. I couldn't have said any better myself. I couldn't have said any better myself, man. But, Don Krieg's, I think Don Krieg... I love those episodes. I was going to say that I prefer Luffy vs. Don Krieg in the manga. But I think I might have them equal because Luffy vs. Don Krieg in the anime is so brutal, man. I mean, in the manga it is... And in the way that Oda portrays it with his panels is really nice, but in the anime, just the way you feel the attacks with the voice acting and just whenever he punches with the spikes, it's great. But let's continue on through the list, and then and I'll think about where I probably would have ranked him. So first is Don Krieg. The next one is going to be Charlotte Cadenza. This one earns a spot on the list because of the desperation of it. We don't usually see Luffy go all MMA on someone. Luffy really was all MMA, though. Like, he was Tyson Fury. Like, he was like, my man had him in a headlock and everything. But in trying to make his way back to me, Sanji chokes out one of the big quintuplets. That's raw, and I hope that when Luffy finally faces down Blackbeard again, he busts out a rear naked choke on him, or at least the Kimura arm lock. If this man hits the Brock Lesnar arm lock on a dude, I'm leaving. I'm leaving, that would be so nasty. So number 19 is Charlie Cadenza. Number 18 is Hold'em. This would be my top 22. This would definitely be my top 20. Just because of the way the anime nailed it, man. I mean, I'm a tard for stuff that goes back to Ace, but whenever you do it in this manner with the Red Hawk and the way the anime just went down and really nitty-gritty in the animation and the art, this obviously isn't the first Red Hawk that Luffy's ever used. Other notable uses include his fight against Grundy World and 3D2Y Special. That one was incredible. Hody Jones, definitely incredible. And the awesome tag team attack with Luffy against Doflamingo. If we were just talking about attacks, I would have that tag team attack against Luffy and Doflamingo 100%, top 10. Easy. But with work by key animator Takashi Kojima, his Red Hawk against Hold'em is especially beautiful. I could watch it all day, and I have. Same here, man. Same here. Definitely worthy of a top 20 spot is Hold'em. Oars. I agree. I don't even have to see which one. I don't have to see the combo. The moment that I saw Oars, I was like, I agree. 100%. Those Oars, to me... I think if I ever made like a top 10 favorite fights in One Piece, the Oars fight would be somewhere between like, I don't know if it'd be top 5 because there's been a lot of great ones, but it'd definitely be top 10. The Oars fight to me has always been the classic boss battle where you have to have, it's kind of like that, spoilers for Final Fantasy VII. Well, minimal spoil. I'm not gonna spoil it huge, but there's this one portion in the game where you have your party members and you continuously have to switch, right? So you have your main party and then you have like other party members too. And you have to utilize all 3 of the party members to take on one boss. So this battle in One Piece reminded me so much of that one. To where it was just this massive boss battle against this one dude where you have every single one of the strides going up against one individual, which is something we had never seen up until that point in time. And they were all giving their all for that, man. We got to see some of the best combo and tag team attacks in the entire series. In this entire stretch against Oars. And both the manga and the anime did especially. I would dare to say the anime might have done a better job in terms of stretching out certain portions compared to the manga, where like Oda just left certain parts open for interpretation to where the anime could take over and add certain scenes, because they really nailed the end of Thriller Bark in the anime. Luffy gets a chance to knock out not one but 2 giants in Thriller Bark, with the first one being Oars and the second one being Gecko Moria. That's so incredible to me, man. Like, yo, he takes on Oars, then Gecko Moria, and then the secret final boss that you have to get in order to get your special item is Kuma. Thriller Bark is a masterpiece, man. However, I'm going to give this spot to Oars. Not only does this gigantic bazooka come after a battle with the entire Straw Hat crew, we also get an x-ray of Oars' spine as it happens. It's pretty rad. Going back to our video game references, I will always enjoy that stuff as well. Kuro. I'm so glad this is on the list, man. That headbutt from Kuro to me is, I don't know why I find it so brutal. I think it's because my head is pretty soft, so whenever like I hit other things, it hurts a lot. So whenever I see that, I cringe. I'm like, God, like, can you imagine getting hit like head on by someone who takes all the momentum of their head, pulls it all the way back and comes in and just decks you? That would hurt. I can imagine, even after evaluating every possible outcome or option, that a man of 1,000 plans, Captain Kuro, would have thought that he'd be defeated by a goofy rubber head screaming in his face and then caving his skull in. It's not the most humiliating way to go out, but considering Kuro spent years trying to enact the perfect scheme and talking trash about being a pirate, it's on up there. Kuro got pwned, man. Kuro, I love those episodes in the anime. They have such a special place in my heart, like I said, for nostalgia purposes. But, man, dude, Foxy. Afro Luffy gang? Let's go, man. Dude, I still remember how high you put the David fight in the list, and I told you, bro, I'd put even higher. I love the David fight so much that some days, it's just that in my top 10 favorite One Piece arcs, there's just so many incredible emotional and character-defining moments that just really make me love this series. But if I could, like right outside the top 10, and like number 11 is Dayback Fight. I adore this arc. As a Gintama fan, as someone who really, really pushes that series, the Foxy arc is trollish Gintama in One Piece. And that's what I love so much about it, man. It's goofy, it's funny, it's hilarious in every language. In Spanish, in English, in Japanese, in the manga. It's just, I love Foxy, I love that entire crew, I love the cast, I love the setting. Davy Back Fight, awesome sauce, man. I'm a Foxy stan, a long big fan, and Davy Back apologist. I love this arc, and I love Foxy. 100% factual. But that doesn't mean that I didn't rejoice when Luffy finally got the win here. However, I have to give most of the credit to Ben Shimada, who is best at voicing truly obnoxious One Piece villains. He also voices Wapol. Oh my god, I never noticed that. Foxy's voice actor is the same as Wapol's? Dog, I don't know why I never noticed that until now. I guess it's because of the beep. I just never noticed. I never made the correlation. Yo, that's so true. Let's get back to the list. Heck, he's one of the best at voicing villains in general. As his versatility has also led him to being behind the roar behind Dragon Ball's Broly. That is 100% factual. But yo, Foxy, 100%. That final attack, or just that entire final battle, an entire sequence against Foxy whenever he's going in as Afro Luffy is so enjoyable. I could watch that any day of the week because it's just so much fun. It takes me back to my roots as a wrestling fan, to where I just truly enjoyed seeing the big bad heel, even if he's a trollish heel, have just go down at the hands of our main baby face, man. It was, and I'll always love that arc, and I love that fight. Oh god. I didn't think you were going to include it because when I thought about knockouts, you know, you think to like the final antagonist or just a regular, like a Bluno, right, or something like that. But I didn't think you would include Usopp, man. Coming in number 14, this is one of my favorite fights of all time. This is the Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels of anime. The legendary episode 236, man. Oh, I picked a sad one. Oh, you're damn straight you did. You're damn straight you did, son. You never forget. I always tell people there's certain episodes where you never forget where you are when you watch them for the first time, or even whenever you watch them another time. This is one of those episodes, man. You just never, or even the chapter 333. You never forget the first time that you watched this, man. The battle between Luffy and Usopp is the most depressing in One Piece's history. With Usopp, I would say the battle itself, yes, but I feel like the stuff surrounding the battle, I'd have Luffy versus Sanji right there with it, man. Luffy versus Sanji hit hard, man. Especially with the final... I see what you're saying, though, because it's the battle itself. You know, in the aftermath, that's tough. Yeah, that's tough! I don't know, that's tough. But Usopp pouring everything he has into a fight where defeat is almost 100% inevitable, and Luffy being forced to beat up the crew member that he often relates to the most. As a fight, it's equal parts thrilling and depressing. And as the start of the perfect Water 70's lobby arcs, it's also equal parts thrilling and depressing. 100%, man. You know, whenever he hits that final gum bullet, and it just nails Usopp, man, and he goes down. And you're just sitting there like Flagnards. Like, you knew it was going to happen eventually, but here it is. And when the music starts playing, man, and I remember the atmosphere was just set up so nicely to where after he hits Usopp, there's nothing but wind. The certain like eerie, I don't remember the exact name of the song, but it's one of the eerie themes in One Piece that plays usually at nighttime. And the wind starts playing, and then Luffy goes over to pick up the Straw Hat. And oh man, dude, episode 236, man. Oh man, coming in number 13 is Buggy. Now this is definitely a classic. This is the battle that would set the standard for inventive conclusions to One Piece fights. 100% factual. 100% factual. I was actually talking about that yesterday with the Romance Dawn special, and I was like, Oda has always had the dramatic and creative conclusion to his battles in mind. Like, he's always wanted to be unique when it came to the final shot that took out an opponent. And I really appreciate that, because the final thing in a battle is always the thing you remember the most. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter if it's a battle in a video game, if it's a battle that you're watching on TV, if it's live action, if it's in a comic, if it's in an animated series. That final shot of the battle is often the thing that sticks with you the most. And so I would love that Oda's always had, like we saw in the Romance Dawn special yesterday, he's always had that final attack be the one with the most emphasis on it. As it should. As it should, man. And even though it's less dramatic than some of the finishing blows to come, it deserves a spot on this list due to how iconic it feels now. It is a final fight that teaches you that One Piece just might be something special when it comes to handling defeat to its villains. 100%. Ooh, Cracker, Tankman, man. I like this fight because it establishes two things. It makes Luffy a genuine threat to the stability and hierarchy of Whole Cake Island, even if he's not ready to take on Big Mom directly yet. And it shows us that the Sanji retrieval team can get the job done. I really love the teamwork between him and Nami in that battle. Also, I like pairing this fight with the last one with Buggy, because in both cases, it's Luffy getting a crucial assist from Nami, and they make a great team. 100%. 100%. So coming in number 12 is Cracker. Can't disagree there. Aw, man. See, now I have to see what you have higher than this. Because the Lucci final attack, and I think this, like I said, it always goes back to, I guess, your experience with a particular episode or a particular scene. This episode 309, one of my best friends and I, after high school, almost every single day, if I would end up going to his house or if he would end up going to my house, we would always watch this episode. Always. It never failed. Almost throughout the entirety of, like, ever since he first got caught up to the series, it was nonstop, always. We're going home and we're watching episode 309. Because episode 309 was just the perfect episode to watch alongside with someone else, at least for me. This is the perfect, if you want to watch somebody's reaction to an episode, I mean, a lot of more episodes have come since then that are reaction worthy, but at the time, this was the episode. This was the episode to watch somebody's reaction on. Because the final moment between Luffy and Lucci, and just the whole battle with Usopp like yelling out to him, Luffy and Lucci just beating the flagners out of each other with the Rokugans, those nasty Rokugans, man. And Luffy finally hitting the Jet Gatling with the incredible music playing in the background. I'm thinking of Robin, and just it all starts connecting. Da-da-da-da-da. And of course the final bit of it with him yelling Robin and Robin giving out the tear, which always gets me to tear up, man. But just when it comes to the final attack itself, the Jet Gatling, to me, for so many years, it was between that and the Jet Pistol is my favorite attack in the series. Just because of this scene. Luffy, or I should say Oda, held off on using Luffy's Jet Gatling the entire arc. Luffy used every single other attack of the book from a Jet standpoint in that battle, man. But the one that ended up finishing Lucci, and he had never used the fight before. This is where I think that Oda's mentality as a wrestling fan came in. You know, saving that final attack to when you truly need it, and when it comes out, it's extremely memorable because you've only seen it once. So when Luffy hit that Jet Gatling for the very first time, and it's the final attack against Rob Lucci, I was like, yeah, I'm sold. I'm sold. But I gotta see what else you have on top of it and what your explanations are for it, because I would definitely have the Lucci one much higher. Luffy's fight against Rob Lucci is one of the most well-constructed fights in anime, 100%. A contest that flip-flops between a battle of nearly equal strengths, a desperate underdog journey, and an immensely satisfying and almost terrifying conclusion. Luffy closing his eyes and screaming while pummeling Lucci through the wall. It is such a visceral, violent way to end this fight and shows that while clever inventiveness can be handy in a battle on the Grand Line, sometimes you just need sheer will. I love the way you put that, because that's 100% what happened. 100% what happened, which is exactly why Usopp was put in that situation. In order to push him over that next line, because whenever it's an equal battle, in the way that Luffy and Lucci were equal 110%. Lucci had certain things better, Luffy had certain things better, and he just continued to box it out and box it out. And the one thing that Luffy needed in order to go over, the one thing that Lucci did not have, is the support of somebody else. And so when Luffy was able to go over and have that extra sense of will, I mean, Luffy already had the will, but then he was also pushed by Usopp, and we know what happened from there. And coming number 10, man, the iconic first scene in the series. Well, or I shouldn't say the first scene. The first scene is him and Shanks, but at the very first ending to a chapter in the series, in chapter 1, with the Sea King. Not only is this One Piece is the best punch, but it's also an integral part of the We Are opening. That is true. If I was a DJ, I'd play that song at every club I worked at. Same. People would be like, DJ Mary, play the latest Post Malone, and I'd be like, right on it, and then I just play We Are again. As you should. As you should. The Sea King, Wapol. I love this one, man. This is without question up there. I think Wapol would have 2. For me, if I made 2 separate lists. One for favorite punch and one for favorite final attack. Final attack is a given. But when it comes to the punch that he gives Wapol right after the flashback in the manga would be in my top 10 favorite One Piece punches. That punch right there, man, it is so satisfying after seeing the Chopper and Here to Look flashback. But anyways, number 9, as I mentioned, Wapol is one of the most obnoxious anime villains out there. So if we didn't get something that would deserve a spot on this list, I would have rioted or at least been very disappointed on Twitter. Luckily, Wapol pleading with Luffy gets rocketed into the Drum Island stratosphere. It's literally the nicest option for him. 100%. Because, whenever I finally saw Wapol get whooped, and it's just Wapol's one of the only dudes, I love villains, man. And it makes it hard for me, or not hard, but whenever, I think that's the one thing that makes One Piece so special, is that because I've always been a fan of the heels, I've always been a fan of the villains, One Piece turned that on its head, where I'm always rooting for the Straw Hats, which still to this day is something that I always take from me, or I always take out of it as inspiration in my own work. But going back to Wapol was one of those instances where I just wanted to see him get pwned. After what he did to Chopper, what he did to the island, to Hiruluk, that's what made that flashback placement so well done to me, man. And Wapol got what he deserved. Flipping bastard. Number 8, man, Doflamingo, 100%. That King Kong gun was rung all over everywhere. I'll never forget doing a reaction to that chapter. It sucks that it was on the old channel and it's not around anymore, but I love that chapter in the manga and that episode in the anime. Doflamingo's defeat is a long time coming, shown as a particular malicious guy during the Skypiea arc, then shown to be an agent of the underworld with a hand in weapons and trafficking. Then revealed to be the false king of Dressrosa, he's needed a punch to the everywhere for almost 15 years of One Piece's run. And Luffy gives it to him, knocking him down the streets of the city that he terrorized for so long. 100%, man. And it really, really rung deep because Dofi got sent flying so hard, everyone saw it. Everyone saw when Luffy beat Doflamingo, dog. That's how hard that man got boned. And this is coming from a Doflamingo tard, but I like Luffy more than Doflamingo, so it's okay. It's okay, but I definitely have this in my top 10 too. Blue No, man. I think what makes Blue Nose so special is that Luffy pwns him with a jet bazooka. And he had one more attack in him, ready to take him out if that one didn't do it. And I think that made it so much more hype, because you're like, Luffy just fodderized Bluno in this New Gear second state. But he had a level even beyond that. That's why I love this episode so much in the anime, 273. Power-ups are fairly expected in shows like One Piece, but that's not a diss on them at all. I love when a protagonist gets notably stronger and can pull off cool new moves and maybe get a new haircut. Transformations, man, will always be special to me. That's the Dragon Ball in me talking. But One Piece truly made it special with this stuff, man. With the Gear 2nd, Gear 3rd, Gear 4th, Snake, man. I'll always love it. But Luffy going 2nd gear and then absolutely making a mockery of Blueno is something to behold. Blueno's look of stunned disbelief makes it even better, and it's just a warm-up for the war against the rest of the CP9 to come. Yeah, it was definitely just a warm-up. But it was great that we had it, because then we were able to see Luffy's on a different level right now, man. I mean, whenever we were back on the Sea Train and on Water 7, we were like, how in the flying flagnards is Luffy even going to touch Lucci? And then after this, we're like, yo, I don't know if Lucci wants any of the work. I don't know if Lucci wants even an ounce of Luffy right now. So, yeah, definitely the Blueno one. Like I said, it's so much fun because he pwns him with the jet bazooka. And then he's like, yo, he was ready. He was biting down on the thumb. And that's when Blueno goes down. Crocodile, man. Yeah, this will always have a special place in my heart, like I said before. This one and this one, the Ogun rifle, the Jet Gatling, and the one from Arlong Park, man. I mean, well, I say that, but there's so many others. But from my roots of the series, when I was first catching up to the anime, if I'm just talking about the anime, man, dude, episode 126, bro. I mean, look, man. Like I said before, certain episodes I've rewatched so many times. This right here, from 117 to 130, legendary stuff, man. For most of the Alabasta arc, Luffy is 0-2 in battles against Crocodile, but while Dvorak's New World Symphony 4th movement plays, which I'm still so just... That's what makes that moment so special. Like, that song is not used in any other portion, in any other fight. And you're like, man, dude, that's how you know that Toei was like, man, we gotta make sure this is out of this world good. Luffy uses the blood that he shed to counter Crocodile's sand to knock him up through Alubarna. It's rare to hear someone called Rubber Bro use his magical fist to shatter the internal organs of an evil desert-themed gentleman. A truly majestic scene. But this is a beautiful work. If there was a church of Ichiro Oda, this would be painted on the ceiling. Get lost, Michelangelo. Couldn't have said it any better myself. I mean, this is one of those scenes that, if I had like a poster filled with panels and or scenes from the anime, episode 126's final moments is somewhere in the room. You know, that's an iconic moment in the series. Luffy taking out Crocodile was that one massive step of like Flagnards. We're making progress. We're making massive progress. So that's definitely well deserving, and I would also have very high for me. Oh man, if this is not only really high, I think I'd also have it in the same place at number 5. And maybe even higher. It's just what it meant, man. I mean, the thing is about Oda is that, like I said before, with how he creatively takes down villains with like certain creative final attacks, it also has to go with the emotional, the emotional weight behind it, which is why I love the Luffy versus Lucci one. But Luffy vs. Arlong, when that one attack takes down the entire room, that is the thing that is binding Nami there. Great! The trend of Luffy beats the main villain of the arc by knocking him through something large that we've seen with foes like Crocodile, Enna, Lucci, and Doflamingo was established here with Arlong. 100%. Horrified at the way that he's treated Nami, Luffy uses a Gum battle axe to turn Arlong's vertebrae into chowder. That junk was... that junk was soup. Straight up soup after that. I'll never forget first watching that fight, and it was so brutal, you know, seeing Luffy break Arlong's nose. I mean, Arlong was biting Luffy. I mean, it wasn't even a tactical battle. It was just they were just throwing hands and just throwing teeth apparently, and they were just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what hit and what hurt. But when Luffy saw what the room was actually made of, he started destroying it, and then him and Arlong actually started duking out there, and Arlong grabbed onto his shoulder. He came right back down with the giant battle axe and just brought him onto the Flagnards. Man, dude, Nami, you are Monokuma, man. Arlong Park, man. Greatness. Oh, man. Yeah, I said it before. This might be my number 1. Like, if I were to make the same list, this might be my number 1. Just the weight behind this one, man. My God, bro. Number 4 is NL. Number 4 is Enel. Luffy using the body of a psychopathic tyrant to ring the Shandorian bell, thus proving to Mont Blanc Nolan's descendant that the City of Gold did exist, and freeing the citizens of Skypiea from Enel's reign is both poetic and just a cool looking set piece in both the anime and the manga. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say, man. It's just like one of those. This is why One Piece is the GOAT to me moments. You know, it's a reminder of just how fulfilling and reading One Piece is. Exactly. It's just how fulfilling reading slash watching One Piece is, and how the details of the story often culminate in these big, lovely bouquets of fisticuffs that never lose any of their meaning or importance along the way. And I'm telling you, man, couldn't have said any better myself. Like, every single possible thing. That's why I love that Mont Blanc Nolan and Kagara's flashback was saved right before this, because all of the weight from Jaya and Skypiea, this entire arc was riding on the shoulders of Luffy as he went up there with that massive golden ball in his fist, man. And whenever he hits that Ogun rifle, you just felt like you were watching something special, man. When he rings the bell, the City of Gold does exist. I think this is my favorite one, bro. I think this is my number one. It's so beautiful, man. I mean, with the music accompanying behind it, when the bell rings, everything's silent. In the anime, I think this is my number one. I really do. I've got to continue. I've got to go through the list to see if you can prove me wrong, but I still think this is my favorite one, bro. It was just so special, man. Oh, number 3, Katakuri. Oof. Now for the Katakuri one! No, this isn't a typical knockout. As Luffy falls down first, and Katakuri dropping feels like more of a spiritual defeat than a physical one. But with the knockout of Katakuri comes the changing of an ideology, and the allowance of failure, something that Katakuri had never given himself before. So it not only signals the end of the fantastic main duel of the arc, but legitimate character growth for the antagonist. That is so true. Also, it comes after Fourth Gear Snake Man fight, which is one of the best animated episodes in the entire show. Yeah, episode 870 is phenomenal. You know, this was tough, man. Because with the Katakuri fight, see, this is the thing that's always like, Luffy vs. Lucci and Luffy vs. Katakuri are so similar to me in terms of like how they are, but the end of the battle is always what changes the way I look at them in different ways. Because like you said, with Luffy vs. Lucci, it's extremely emotional on the spot, because you know the weight behind all those attacks happening. With Luffy vs. Katakuri, it's a battle between rivals going up until the very end, and it's the aftermath right after that that really truly makes you appreciate everything that you had just gone through in that battle. So in that sense, I really can't see why you would have this high. When I think about it, I think when you put it in that way, I think it's because I first read this in the manga that has me looking at it in a manner to where I'd have it higher on my manga list than my anime one. But I think when you put it that way, I think the anime truly makes a splendid job at truly making you appreciate their bond as rivals, and just how Katakuri was able to grow thanks to that. No, of everything that just happened. I like it, man. See what number 2 is. Oh, man, dude, I shouldn't have spoken it. I didn't think, like I said before, I didn't think it was going to be on the list, because when I think of knockouts, I don't think of punches. When I think of punches, this is my number 1. This is my number 1, and this is not even close. Well, I can't say that, because Bellamy's is really high too, and some of the other punches, but this one in the anime, I don't think anything else touches it. Yo, Charlos, yo. See, because whenever whenever he said knockouts, for some reason in my head, I was like, okay, it's the ones that are like NL and Katakuri. That's why I was like, man, why are some of these so low? But if we're including Charlos, dog, this one is, I don't know. Because the thing is, the Charlos one is just so satisfying. But then the NL one is just so beautiful, and the emotion behind. That was what I wanted to. But yo, Charlos, this one right here, when I first experienced this in the manga, I'll never forget the amount of rage. I wanted someone to punch this dude so hard. I didn't care what the consequences were. And Oda made us feel that. Like, when I go back and I reread that arc to this day, I still feel that way. But when I first initially read through that arc, man, and seeing that scene in the auction house, it's something that few series have replicated for me, to where I truly just wanted to see somebody get punched in the face. But in the anime, oh man, the music, I was legit shedding tears, bro. I mean, he was trying to stop Luffy, and then you have that legendary Luffy, the dun 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 dun. Charlos is shooting Luffy, duke, duke, duke. It's like, yo, what is this man doing? Is he insane? And right when he punches him, you have the greatest impact frame I have seen in all of my years of watching this medium. And Luffy punches him so hard, it's ends up flying all the way to the flag. You see him pissed off. Yeah, This is a legendary scene, man. The most gift moment of One Piece ever. Luffy punching Charlo so hard that it seems to break the anime. Needs no explanation. It's perfect. Couldn't say any better myself. Number 1, Bellamy. See, I had a feeling. With the punches, it's so hard because with the punches, it's between Charlos and Bellamy. And like I said before, it's the same reason for the NL Charlos thing for final thing for me. With NL, it's the weight behind everything that had just taken place in the arc. Getting that final attack in. Where Charlos is a punch, it's just so satisfying. But I feel like the Bellamy attack takes the best of both of those. If we're talking about just a single attack, and takes it into one scene. Because with Bellamy, you have the rage inside of you. I wanted to just see somebody punch this dude in the face, but you also have the weight of the entire Jai arc up until that point in time. So I can't disagree. There's no way. How can I? How can anyone disagree with with Luffy punching Bellamy being number 1? Do I know how to throw a punch, you ask? Leo man left an imprint in his face. Luffy rearranging Bellamy's skull. What? That was episode 151, right? Legendary stuff, man. Luffy rearranging Bellamy's skull after Bellamy mocks his belief in dreams and myth is a perfect distillation of one of the themes of One Piece. Those who believe in something versus those who simply want to tear down those beliefs. 100%, man. And though the fight to follow your dreams and live a free life in the sea would continue, Luffy scored a victory for it here. Dreams 1, Bellamy's ability to go without a neck brace 0. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, man. Is my brother playing Final Fantasy 7? I hear the battle theme. But anyways, or is that just in my head because we're talking about battles? Regardless, when it comes to this list, man, you know, I went into here thinking of different ones that I would have really high. But dog, in the way that you put them, I think I still have Luffy vs. NL really high. I think that's, honestly, bro, I think that's still my number 1. But after you put the Bellamy one in the way that you did, because when I think about knockouts, I don't think about it in the same way I do punches. But after you put it in the way that you did, for some reason, they just don't correlate in my head like that. So after you put it in this way, I think I'd also have the Bellamy one really high. Because the Bellamy one, also maintains those very same core themes that you get from the NL one and some of the ones that you get from the Charlos one. It just combines them. See, when you put it in that way, it's hard, man. Like now I understand how hard this list must have been to make for you. Because there's been so many amazing knockouts in this series. And now I'm thinking, man. But this is an excellent list. It really, really was. Like, whenever I saw Lucci down number 11, I was like, man, what is in front of this? But really, really good picks. Really good picks. I'm starting to rethink my list. You know what I'm saying? Because originally, like I said, I had the NL one really high, the Crocodile one really high, Arlong and Lucci. Punches, man, for sure. Bellamy and Charlos Charlos number 1. But yo, I think Charlos might be right there, right behind it. I mean, bro, both of these are staples. You never forget these one-shots once you see them, man. It's what makes One Piece so special to me. I mean, other series don't have moments like this. You know? Like, bro, other series have so many epic moments, but in One Piece, you know, there's those epic one-shot scenes. Yeah, man. No, the Bellamy one is gonna be high up there for me, too, when it comes to the knockouts. This is tough, man. I don't know how you made this list. Like, I'm trying to, like, think of one real quick in my head. But, like I said, I think NL would be my favorite. Followed by, I think... That's tough, man. Regardless, I don't think it matters. But, yo, reading this was a blast. Just being able to look back and think of the final attacks. And just... It's a perfect thing for the 20th anniversary. Because for me, when I first got into One Piece... I was coming off of the shonen battle manga or shonen battle anime high of always wanted to see people get pwned. So like in Dragon Ball, I always loved like the transformations. I always loved seeing how certain villains would get pwned. Same thing in Naruto, same thing with Bleach, same thing with Yu Yu Hakusho, and stuff like that, right? But when I got into One Piece, expecting something similar to that, and yet what I got out of it was that, but then so many other things alongside with that. So I look forward to the fights, but once I actually got not even knee deep into the series, so it's like a couple episodes, I was like, man, I love the world, I love the adventure, I love the emotional aspect. So just taking me back to my roots, how I was with the series when I first got into it, was really, really cool, you know, because coming to appreciate One Piece as a battle series, and coming to appreciate how Oda has created so many memorable and incredible moments when it comes to the fights, and when it comes to certain individuals just getting their stuff rocked, man. Because Luffy's done a lot of that, bro, over the years, dog. He's rocked a whole bunch of dudes. But this is a fun list, man. It really makes you think, though. It really, really does. Because just when you think you have one thing really high, you're just like, Flag Nars! This is right here! Yeah, no. Great choice with Bellamy there. You can't go wrong with Bellamy, man. You can't go wrong with Bellamy, you can't go wrong with Charlos, you can't go wrong with any of these. Katakuri, NL, Arlong, Crocodile, like, there's so many great ones. But, yeah, man, thank you very much, yo, for allowing me to go back and look at these and just being able to appreciate these 20 years of Luffy punching someone in the face, man. You know, taking it back to its roots, man. But, yo, thank you very much once again, Daniel Dockery, for making this list, and for allowing me to go back and look at the history of the series and see how many awesome punches and how many awesome final attacks and knockouts Luffy's had in the series, man. And for broadening and opening up my eyes when it comes to what a knockout truly is. You know what I'm saying? Like, 100%, man. This is a blast to look to go through, and I look forward to the next one, man. I look forward to the next one that I'll be able to do like this, because this is really, really fun and a wonderful thing to do for the 20th anniversary of the series. But yo, man, for everybody in the comment section, let me know what y'all would have as your favorite knockout, or like your top 5 favorite knockouts in the series. Flipping Flag Nars. You know, off the top of my head, I think I would have Luffy and NL. Then Charlos, because it's hard. Because the Arlong one is so amazing to me, bro. Like, I don't know. But screw it, man. I'm just going to go with Luffy and NL number 1, and then I'm going to have to think about the rest of them eventually. Eventually. But there's just so many good ones. But yeah, man, I hope everybody has an awesome day, man. Enjoy this wonderful celebration of the One Piece anime and this wonderful week where we're getting Stampede on Thursday. I'm so looking forward to that. I cannot wait to watch Stampede on Thursday, and we're gonna get another chapter next week, and of course we're gonna get a chapter today, and Chihaya Fudu comes out on Tuesday, and it's gonna be a wonderful week when it comes to experiencing the anime and manga greatness. But as far as One Piece is concerned, the dub is coming back soon. It's the 20th anniversary. Stampede this week. It's a great time to be a fan, man. And I'm so glad that I got into it all those years ago, dog. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you once again, Daniel Dockery. I will see y'all next time. Have an awesome day. One Piece greatness. And always remember, man, if you ever need anybody to get whooped, go back and watch one of Luffy's epic knockouts, and you'll always have something to look back on whenever you gotta do it yourself, man. We ain't conducting violence on here, dog, but sometimes you gotta defend yourself. You gotta defend yourself and your dreams, baby, because that's what Luffy does. Let's go, man.